Hey Lauren, welcome to the Shift Show. Thanks so much for being here today.
Hi, Adriana. Thank you so much for having me. I've been looking forward to this.
Amazing. Super excited to chat with you. So, before we dive into all the things, I'll just have you kind of briefly introduce yourself and then we'll get into all the things.
Sounds good. So, hi, I'm Lauren, and actually, me and Adriana are longtime friends. So, this feels very comfortable, and I'm so
Amazing.
excited for this. And basically, I'll probably be here talking about mostly my journey with infertility. At 15, I was diagnosed with a rare congenital disorder called MRKH syndrome, which in a nutshell basically means parts of my reproductive organs never developed properly. So just growing up with that and navigating that and in the wake of a lot of narcissistic people. So I'm trying to tie in the both of them. I've been doing some low-key advocating because I do think it's something that's not talked about a lot, especially in the community. I think it goes easily under the radar. So I've been really, as I've been starting to open up about my diagnosis more publicly, I'm trying to incorporate a lot of the emotional abuse that comes with it as well, because it's not talked about a lot. So that's why I'm super glad to be here. So I hope this helps shed light for others as well.
Absolutely. I love that you wanted to come on my podcast and super excited to have you. I mean, I know a lot of your story because, we've been
Hmm.
friends for more than 20 years. Yikes.
Yeah,
We're
yeah.
getting old.
Oh gosh.
Yeah. And I've kind of witnessed some of the shit that you've gone through with,
Oh, you
just
have.
yeah, like just having, it's we live in such a society that like praises fertility and motherhood and people having children and all that kind of stuff. And, when you have a condition that, basically prevents you from that,
Mhm.
and there's narcissists around because
Mhm.
they will prey on that vulnerability in order to
Absolutely.
get supply, right? And
Absolutely.
it is so wild. And, myself, I'm child free by choice. So, I
Hmm.
mean, I've had some similar situations just kind of, opening up to certain people that like, I do
Hmm.
not want to have children. And then
Hmm.
they get all narky and like the
Wow.
narc comes out and it's like, oh, like, because I just think this is going to sound really controversial. And I am not
Yeah.
bashing parents at all for our listeners here, but I believe that parenthood is a choice. And I, I've witnessed it. I've witnessed it. I have so like a few friends
Yeah.
that kind of regret becoming
Hmm.
parents or like they wish they kind of looked into it further. And I can't tell you how many people have said
Right.
like, oh, if I knew what I know now, I probably would not have opted into parenthood.
Isn't that
And
interesting? Wow.
yeah, and it's just, I just think that, I'm not speaking for all parents or anything like
Hmm.
that, but I just think
Hmm.
there's a lot of narcissistic parents out there who
Hmm.
regret having children because they didn't get the little mini me that they hoped for. And then
Oh,
they're not
wow.
getting that supply that they wanted to have for the rest of their life. And it's kind of
Right.
like a misery loves company kind of thing when they
Yep.
encounter somebody who is actually by choice child free
Hmm.
and they try to kind of like, you know, like the number of people who have told me, "Oh, you're going to change your mind. You don't know what you're talking about.
Wow.
You're still young." And I'm like, "Okay, you know what? Like I'm in my like mid to late 30s at this point. Like,
You're
right?
pretty set.
Yeah, like I'm pretty sure at this point I'm not changing my mind." And then of course for you, right? Like you have this condition and you literally
Hmm.
can't, and that's something that you
Hmm.
wanted. And then
Right.
people are, making you feel like shit about that. I
Yes.
cannot even imagine. So
Hmm.
let's start at the top. I did a lot of
Sure.
rambling there. That
No, that was great.
that was its own little TED talk right there. But just kind of tying in the two things and like really connecting it to
Hmm.
narcissism because they are literally everywhere in
Everywhere.
every sort of community imaginable.
Yep.
And I
Yep.
just think it's so important to shed light on this kind of stuff. So
Absolutely.
yeah, so I will pass the mic off to you, and just,
Yeah.
have you kind of share your story, getting
Hmm.
diagnosed, and
Hmm.
how that has kind of played out, and then we'll take it from there.
Sure. Yeah. I just want to say that was so interesting that you get the narc stuff for being child free by choice.
Mhm.
Like that just blows my mind, first off. But yeah, on my end, to be on the flip side of it, where I'm child free, not by choice, I, eventually want kids at some point, but being shamed for having it, or, I'll get into it now, but just the parallel between that, it always blows my mind.
Yeah,
And it's just, oh, it's disgusting, isn't it? But
absolutely.
yeah, so basically, as I was saying, I was diagnosed at 15 because I wasn't getting my period. When you have MRKH syndrome, you're born with it, and a lot of the times girls don't find out until you reach puberty and you're just waiting for your period to come.
Mhm.
And when it doesn't arrive, you start going for testing. And after about a year, I was diagnosed with MRKH syndrome, which means I was born without a uterus, a cervix, and a shortened vaginal canal, which is a lie. And it's just all tied together. I guess when, you're a baby and you're developing, that whole part of your body develops at the same time. So when you have MRKH syndrome, for whatever reason, by fluke, those parts of the body just never develop properly. I also have type 2. There's type 1 and type 2. So type 2 is the added characteristics of one kidney and some spinal issues. So part of my spine curves very slightly, which can cause pain, mostly when I'm under stress. But mostly it's okay. It doesn't give me too hard of a time.
Mhm.
But it started MRKH, living with infertility in my 30s right now has been the most challenging. I repressed it back then when I was a teenager. I thought, okay, I'm not going to deal with this. This time in my life has been the most challenging. It's in my face, really, for the first time. Peers around me are getting pregnant, starting families. And that's where the narcissism has really, really come out, I find. And it's mostly, it's done so like
Like
sneakily is better.
covert. Yeah.
Covert, yes. I don't even know how to fully describe it, but basically people have made me feel, if I put up boundaries for someone who just announced that they're expecting, or they're having like a gender reveal party or something, if I've spoken up and said I'm sorry, like I can't make it, it's hard for me. I've had people who have literally gone stonewall on me for
Wow.
that because I said I couldn't be there for them. Or I've had it very thrown in my face. I've had people come out of the woodworks who I don't really talk to anymore. I put up boundaries with, and they come out of the blue and they could not wait to throw in my face that they were
Wow.
pregnant. That, I mean, I see it clearly and others don't, but they know they can get away with it. So I see it and I just like, I puke in my mouth. It's so bad. And it can easily be passed as, well, you're just jealous,
Hmm.
or, oh, you're just being sensitive. Be
Hmm.
happy for me. This is my time.
Hmm.
So, and that's what silences the survivors, is those kind
Yes.
of enabling justifications.
Yeah, absolutely. And I just find with a lot of narcissists who get pregnant, it's, like there's normal people who get pregnant, like maybe they'll
Yeah.
share a little bit on social media, cool, whatever.
Yeah.
But when they're
Hmm.
literally throwing it in their friend's face who is infertile, has zero chance, has voiced out to them that,
Hmm.
like I don't want to get too many updates from you. I'm happy for you. Enjoy. Like,
Hmm.
there there should be that mutual understanding. And
You would think.
you would think, right?
Yeah.
And what I find wild is because I've basically cut out all the narcs in my life at this
Good
point.
for you.
Yeah. And I've obviously had friends who have gotten pregnant, had kids, all that kind of stuff. And I just
Mm.
find that it's all the healthy friends that I've kept.
Yeah.
And
Mm.
they're not throwing anything in my face. They're not saying like, "Oh, are you sure you're not going to change your mind?" Like as they're puking, you know? like, like that has not happened. And
Hmm.
it's like in your case, it's like these are narcissistic friends who do not necessarily appear to be narcissistic at
Hmm.
first,
Yeah.
because the thing with friends is that it's sneaky when the
Yes.
narc starts to
It's so
come up.
much harder to
Mhm.
identify, and at least in my experience, it
Yeah,
has been.
absolutely. Like I've had narcissistic friends and it's come out like in obviously different ways,
Right.
but the patterns are totally the same. And it's like you're not gonna necessarily recognize at first that, oh,
Hmm.
this person I've been friends with for however long is a
Hmm.
narcissist. Because with friendships, it's like, yeah, you're friends, you go do fun stuff, all that kind of great stuff,
Yeah.
but you're not as close with a friend as you would be with a family member or
Hmm.
a significant other,
You're
where,
right.
where the
Hmm.
narc would really show a lot faster, or,
Yep.
it would be more obvious kind of thing, because friendships, like, you can go months without talking to a friend and you
Such a
kind
good
of
point.
forget, right? You forget like the
Yeah,
little things that happened. And it's
absolutely.
right. And it's not like all these big things happen. It's like a lot more sneaky with
Yeah, it's a lot of little build-up things
yeah,
along the way, and which can delay your
yeah,
recovery.
yeah, absolutely. And it's, I mean, I know so much about what you've been through. So it's like
Yeah.
you're catching it. You are catching it so much faster than you were in
You've
the
been a
past.
big help.
That's amazing. Great to have you as a friend.
Anyone listening, Adri is the best for that. She'll tell you how it is, and she's just, you'll be on a quicker path of recovery. So
Totally. So yeah, like if you want to share, about any of the friendships that you've had that like the narc started, like what were some of like the early signs that you started to notice, like, okay, that's kind of weird, but I'm gonna let that go. Like, how did that go?
yeah, it's been a bunch of different little things for different people. I think one of the biggest things is the entitlement factor that's there. A lot of the narky people in and around my life, whether they were friends or even certain family members or people at work or wherever, they just have this entitlement
Yeah.
to them. But I always mistook that for confidence in that person.
Mhm.
So I missed all that. I had no idea. I would admire the person and think, oh, they're so confident. They got their stuff together.
Mhm.
But then, as you were saying, over time, you start to pick up on other signs. So that was the first sign for me, was a lot of entitlement, a lot of sarcastic digs for sure.
Mm.
That again, I knew something wasn't right, but I probably took the blame, thinking, okay,
Totally.
maybe it's me, maybe I'm being sensitive, maybe I read the situation wrong.
Mhm.
And then, of course, the biggest thing is the discard, whether it was they found another source of new supply. So a lot of the times, especially when it's a narcissistic parent, a lot of the times they just flat out ditched me. They didn't bother with me anymore. And I just felt unimportant anymore. And I took that as, okay, well, I guess it's because they have a baby now. And that kind of does a double-edged sword with me, because not only is my trauma activated and it already makes me feel not good enough and unworthy to
Mhm.
be in their life, but now it's done in a narcissistic, intentional way.
Mhm.
And again, it's done very under the radar. Um, and again, I just want to clarify, this is strictly for narcissistic
Yes.
people. I have friends who are healthy and wonderful and who have had kids and have been wonderful announcing their pregnancies to me and gone on for parenthood. So I just want to clarify, and that I'm not bashing all parents. These are strictly narcissistic, antagonistic people.
Yeah. Absolutely. And it's like, it's one thing where, life gets busy, you stop
Hmm.
talking to each other for a period of time, they're busy with the baby. Completely understandable.
That is absolutely understandable.
A
I'm so
hundred
glad you said
percent.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's when it's a narcissistic friend who is preying on your vulnerability and seeing that they're no longer getting supply from you
Yeah.
because you're not, they have that sense of entitlement where it's like, oh, I am pregnant. I am the best. I am, you know, the
Yeah.
like you know what I mean, right? It's
Yeah.
they just
Yeah.
have that arrogance about them where it's like I'm better than
Yeah.
everyone, right?
And
And
society really enables that too.
yes.
Like they
Oh
are
God,
in
yeah.
some ways put on pedestals for that.
Absolutely.
So they milk it. They milk it for what it's
Yes.
worth.
100%. And this is not to say that, it's not amazing and you're having a kid. That's great.
Of
Congratulations.
course. Yeah.
Wonderful. But when you're a narcissist, because that's the thing too, right? Like narcissists will intentionally have children because it
Hmm.
gives them so much attention, right? Pregnant
Yeah.
women get attention. They get
Yeah. Yeah.
help from people, all that kind of stuff. I'm not saying they don't deserve it. Absolutely they do.
Yeah.
But narcissistic women absolutely milk it
Yeah.
and they use it in order to get supply from whoever is around them in that moment. Because this is the thing with narcissists, they live for the moment. So it's not that you
Mm.
were necessarily their main targets throughout
Hmm.
their life or anything like
Hmm.
that, because with friendship, it's different. But
Hmm.
there will be those little digs here and there, and it
Yeah.
doesn't get obvious until it kind of like smacks you in the face. And then when
Yeah.
you get pregnant, it's like, they see you and it's like, oh, Lorenn has this vulnerability.
I'm the best target for
Uh-huh.
them, unfortunately.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like you are the
Hmm.
prime target for them to quote unquote narc out at you
Yeah. Isn't
because
that
they
awful?
know that you're going to
Hmm.
have some sort of emotional reaction and they're going to feed off of that.
Oh, that's so twisted.
Yeah.
I can't even imagine deliberately inflicting that pain onto someone, even if it was someone who, quote unquote, deserved. Like, what would
Exactly.
that, what good would that do me in the end? It would
Nothing.
like nothing,
Exactly.
right? I just go
Exactly.
off, be on my merry way. But these are people that get off on it.
Yes.
It's,
Exactly.
it boggles my mind.
Yeah. And I'm really glad you brought that up because normal people with empathy cannot imagine, like, oh, this person has this vulnerability. I have this thing that they can't have.
Yeah.
Let's go fuck shit up. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like,
How
there's,
insane does that sound?
yep, it really is so insane. And there's no benefit to it at all, but you can't reason with unreasonable people. Like narcissists
Mm,
just see supply as like the ultimate goal.
hmm.
Ah.
Yeah.
So if you can remember off the top of your head, like an example of like a friend
Mm,
who, got pregnant and then you started seeing little little weird things starting to come out. And even if there were little weird things that had come out before this friend got pregnant, like what did that kind of look like? And
hmm.
how did it sort of expand as, the friend went through pregnancy and birth and all that kind of stuff in terms of your
Mm.
friendship and like the cycle of abuse?
Well, one of them I remember a couple of years back, and I feel comfortable saying this because nobody no longer speaks to this person
Great.
in my group.
Perfect.
Um, they were having a gender reveal online. It was during COVID, or it was just on the out. I don't know. It was like September, maybe 2021 or something. I can't remember. But anyway, it was an online reveal. And it was on a long weekend, and I think I was out of town that weekend. And I told this person ahead of time, just a heads up, I'm going to be out of town this weekend. I might not be able to make it. This person also knows about my vulnerability. And I did not make the gender reveal. But I did text this person a couple of hours later and I said, hey, just, sorry I couldn't make it. So what are you having, a boy or a girl? And this person basically after gave me the silent treatment for a couple, maybe not a couple days, but like a full day after, which I thought was weird.
Mhm.
And then when they did respond to me, it was a very vague, like, hey, it's a boy. And like that was it. There was no other context behind it. And it was very unlike this person.
Mhm.
Um, and I just said, "Oh my gosh, congrats." I tried
Yeah.
to fill in the gaps but I was getting a sense. I'm like, "Okay, something's wrong here."
Yeah.
And then I remember
It's
thinking
like they're
because
trying to make you feel bad by
yes,
being standoffish
vague.
about like, hey, it's a boy,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Like right off the bat, I could tell something was wrong. And so, then of course I'm scrambling over here. I'm like, okay, like, how are you guys doing? I'm sorry I couldn't make it, blah, blah, blah. And then I don't know. And then more time went on where I wasn't getting a response back to the point I felt so bad that I had to reiterate my triggers. And I just said, I'm so sorry. Like a lot of times these are really, really hard for me. Please know I'm being a cheerleader from the side though. Literally, this person, everything I just said, thanks, Lauren. And that was it.
Wow.
And
Wow.
even still, I felt so bad because to me, this came out of the blue. I was not expecting it from this person. I ended up sending them roses. They were having a boy. I sent like blue roses or something the next day just
Mhm.
to make up for the crap that I now felt. And I'm putting the
Mhm.
blame on me. I'm thinking, oh my God, what's wrong with me? Yeah, I have this condition, but I should learn to like shove this down and be happy for these people because now look what it's done. Clearly, I've done wrong and I've hurt them and I don't want to be that person.
Mhm.
So I did that and eventually over time, things were never exactly the same after that. This person slowly over time was starting to pull away and they were part of a little group that we had of other friends and they eventually pulled away from that group too. They got into some conflicts. So there was other things going on there that we didn't really see that sort of started to surface
Mhm.
to the point now where this person is no longer in any of our lives, which is a blessing in
Mhm.
disguise. But I just remember back then a couple of years ago, I couldn't believe that I was being shamed
Yeah,
for an online gender reveal that I chose not to go to.
yeah,
One, I
that's
couldn't, but
crazy.
two, a lot of the times I don't because I'm just trying to protect
Yeah,
myself.
totally. And like, yeah, like you actually were literally unable to attend.
Hmm.
Person knew about it. They knew about your vulnerability. And it's like the way I see it, like if I if I were in that person's shoes, I would like not even like I would just give you like the open-ended invitation. Like, hey, like I know this stuff is hard for you.
Hmm.
If you want to come, it's here. If not, don't worry about it. Like I completely understand. You know what I mean? Like just kind of being
Yeah,
empathetic towards you. But it's
I
like
love
that
that.
sense of entitlement of like, you better be happy for me because I'm doing the
Yeah.
most amazing average thing in the world that like billions of people have done. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
You know?
yeah.
And
Sometimes
it's
it just takes a little bit of that acknowledgement, like, hey, I
yeah,
know this is hard for you.
yeah,
It's
sure.
amazing how, like, I don't really get that a whole lot. I mean, a lot of like our, I don't know, our close circle, they don't have kids right now.
Mhm.
Um, but just in general, I feel like I haven't gotten
Yeah.
that little bit of empathy or that little bit of acknowledgement
Yeah.
right before the announcement. It's been very much like, hey, by the way,
Yeah. Just
haven't
shoving it in
talked
your
to
face.
you in 6 months, but I just wanted to let you know.
It's wild. Yeah, it's, you know,
Yeah.
it's really like the thing with narcissists is that they're everywhere, right? And if we've been
Hmm.
exposed to them for a lot of our lives, they're just we end up having an entire friend group of them, unfortunately.
Hmm. Hmm.
And it's, you know, it sounds like that has been the case because I know there are people who are normal about it
Yeah.
and they don't have that sense of entitlement of like, oh, like everybody needs to bow at my feet and
Hmm.
praise me for making this decision
Yeah.
that like billions of people make every single day.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? And it's like if
Hmm.
there was something you were excited about in your life, it's like they wouldn't even care because
Oh, I have not gotten the same
yeah,
treatment
exactly.
back when good things were going on in my life.
Exactly, right?
It was
And
very discarded.
yeah, like it's so crazy. And that's a red flag of a narcissist when they
Hmm.
expect you to be there for them with whatever they're going through, but they're not there for you with whatever
Hmm.
you're going through. And it's like their problems or their quote unquote achievements are like far more important than yours. And then they just make
Yeah.
you kind of feel like shit about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, you know, just another red flag that I'll point out about the friend that you just shared about is that they also had conflicts with other people in that
Yeah.
friend group. So it's
But I
just
didn't know that until
oh, of course.
later.
Yep,
Hmm.
exactly, right? And that's the thing. It's not like people are pretty in like in a friend group, people would be pretty hush hush about it because they don't want to stir the pot and screw up the
Exactly.
friend group and things like that. So like,
Such a good point. Yeah.
you know, so people are going to keep quiet about it, but the fact that eventually this person stopped being friends with everybody because there were all these conflicts going on and they're the common denominator,
Hmm.
that shows you right there that you were never the issue. And
The
this
common
person,
denominator.
yep,
Yes.
this person was the issue. And it's not like, because in a lot of other cases, there will be like the narcissist does a smear campaign against everybody, and then,
Hmm.
you know, then it looks like the scapegoat is the common denominator causing all the issues. But,
Yeah.
you know, and that's very possible. So I'm not, you know, just for our listeners, I'm not saying that, you know, if you've been in like just kind of outcasted by your
Mm.
friendship group. It doesn't mean that you're a narcissist because you weren't instigating things. It's the narcissist was talking shit about you. But
Hmm.
in this
Hmm.
case, this is like a perfect prime example, which, you know, a rare example too, because usually the narcissist
Right.
like the puppet master and is able to lie and control things and all that kind of stuff. But
Hmm.
obviously, this person just could not, you know, not be so narcissistic that
Hmm.
everyone sort of ended up catching on and
Yeah.
they basically outed themselves. So you were absolutely never the issue in that whole situation. And
Hmm.
so before the if you can remember, if not, no biggie, but before
Hmm.
the whole pregnancy thing happened with this particular friend, were there any little weird things that happened before that that were like, oh, that's kind of weird, but I'm gonna ignore it?
It's interesting that you were mentioning before with friendships. a lot of the times it's easier for them to kind of get by because you don't see them.
Yeah.
And this was someone that I didn't see a lot.
Yeah.
We lived further away from each other, different schedules and things like that. So I really didn't see a whole lot of signs because I wouldn't have been really exposed as much. I obviously wasn't the main target or the main supply or whatever
Mhm.
at that point, but this one really kind of blindsided me, which
Right.
is why it was so much harder for me to come to terms
Mhm.
with the fact that this person is toxic,
Yeah.
because I really was blindsided by it. I have had other instances in the past, as you know, where there were
Mhm.
little things leading up to it
Yeah.
that made me question. And even then, it's not an easy black and white decision. At least
Yeah.
for me, it's not. I'm still there, like, as you would say, in that bamboozled state, thinking like, okay, maybe it's me. Maybe I'm not being sensitive enough to their situation. Maybe I could have done A, B, and C, and then everything
Mhm.
would have been okay. But as we know, with narcissists, you
Mhm.
can't win. You can't
Exactly.
win.
Exactly. And, I'll just also point out that you feeling so bamboozled after, saying congrats after the online gender reveal, whatever, and feeling the need to get them a bouquet of flowers after because the response was just so cold towards you,
Yeah,
making you feel
I
like
felt
you did something so
horrible.
wrong. Yeah.
I did. I
Yeah.
did. I remember I was like, yeah, it was.
Oh,
I remember my husband came over and he just said, "Are you okay?" Like, I was distraught.
oh my
I
gosh.
felt awful.
That's
And
terrible.
like, it makes you wonder, do they know, obviously, but
Yeah.
do they know how awful you feel? I don't think they
Yeah.
care. I guess they
No,
don't care.
absolutely not, right? And it's like it was intentional
Mm-hmm.
because they
Mm-hmm.
know, right? And they're
Mm-hmm.
narcissists and they
Mm-hmm.
don't care, right? They don't care how you
Mm-hmm.
feel. They just
Mm-hmm.
want you in that bamboozled state. And so this is a
Mm-hmm.
perfect example of them not getting what they wanted from you, which was you attending this
Mm-hmm.
online gender reveal, which
Mm-hmm.
I've got some very not great opinions on gender reveals, but like, is the baby shower not enough, guys? Come on, I don't know.
Right,
That's just my
right.
opinion.
It's funny. I knew where you
Like,
were going before you even said
yep,
it.
but whatever. That's another topic for another day. They didn't get your attendance at that, and
Mhm.
it's like, and you guys didn't even see each other that
I was just
often,
about to say we're not even like
right?
best
You're not even besties.
friends. Yeah.
And so it's like that sense of entitlement that Lorenn needs to come to my gender reveal party on Zoom. And then if she doesn't, then fuck her, basically.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make
Yeah.
her feel like shit.
Hmm.
So, because the thing is, you would have felt like shit either way. You would have felt like shit if you went because
Right.
it would have been thrown in your face. And,
Yeah.
second of all, you couldn't even go because you had
Right.
pre-existing commitments
Plans. Yeah.
and plans, right? And so it's just like that sense of entitlement that like, oh, if you're not gonna come, I'm gonna throw the knife deeper in, right?
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
making you feel like you were literally in tears. And even though
Hmm.
it wasn't in front of that friend, the fact that you went and got them flowers and apologized, which you had
Yeah.
nothing to apologize for, they were feeding off of that supply, off of that
Hmm.
emotional reaction because they knew, like, oh, I got Lorenn to react. So, and she even
Hmm.
went as far as to get us flowers. And
Hmm.
let's just keep, you know, getting supply from this person and making them feel like shit, which
Hmm.
is basically
Hmm.
what narcissists do.
Hmm.
And
Yep.
yeah, and then obviously at least you're not friends anymore, which is absolutely a huge blessing because
Yes.
friends like that, who needs enemies, right?
Oh no, no.
Yeah,
It was so hard to even come to terms with that because it was part of a friend group
yeah,
and the other people didn't really see the extent of that side before.
yeah,
So it's hard
absolutely.
when you, as you said, feel like the scapegoat in the group.
Exactly. Absolutely. And so with some of the other friendships that, you said that you noticed some weird things going on, but you kind of ignored them. Like, what did that kind of look like?
Interesting. It was more like it was a lot of complaining about pregnancies towards me and, oh, I'm feeling sick right now, or I'm getting so big. I'm worried about me getting big, but I'm so happy. Um, I
Because
don't
you're the
know.
person to vent to about that, obviously.
Right,
Like,
right. Like, why am I
you
why am
know?
I getting that? And then
Yeah.
yeah, and then it would make me feel horrible again because I'm like, okay, I'm trying to be a supportive friend to you, and but it's feeling painful
Yeah.
because it's my deepest pain being activated right in my face with like a double-edged sword. It's being twisted, 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 that
Yeah.
the wound just keeps getting reopened. And then I'm the one here thinking, like, how do I deal with this? Like, do I need to tell them to stop, or do I look like a bad friend if I do that? Like, it's
Mhm.
so much touch and go. And there's really a lot of the times it feels like there's no one you can go to ask. A lot of the times you were saying it's like, well, yeah, they're pregnant, they're having the kids, so I'm sure, they need that comfort. No one's really thinking about
Mhm.
the person that is being triggered or
Mhm.
emotionally abused.
Exactly. And it's like, I get venting to a friend about, not feeling
Hmm.
well and stuff like that, but like here's the other point that I want to make. When someone's pregnant, they're getting attention from everybody.
Right,
So
right.
it's like you're telling me this person didn't have any other friends or anybody else in their life,
Hmm.
including, the other parent,
Right. The partner.
you know, or even an online forum that they could have vented to,
Right.
had to be you.
Yeah.
Right. And it's
Yeah.
like, and this is a covert narcissist tactic too, where it's like they make themselves a victim,
Hmm.
where,
Yeah.
it's like this person is telling you, knowing that this
Hmm.
is your biggest vulnerability, this is your biggest pain point ever,
Hmm.
knowing that, having that information,
Hmm.
is a close friend of yours,
Hmm.
and decides to get supply from you by making themselves the victim
Hmm.
of
Right.
their own choice,
Yep.
of the thing they wanted. And like I get it. Like I can imagine morning sickness probably fucking sucks.
Yeah,
But like
yeah.
it's just so interesting because when I compare this with one of my friends who is pregnant again and is having
Hmm.
morning
Hmm.
sickness, like
Hmm.
we talked about that for 5 seconds.
Okay.
It's
Wow.
not like a thing where she's literally messaging me all the time saying like, "Oh my
Okay.
God, the morning sickness, blah, blah, blah." It's like,
Wow.
yeah, like this is what I'm going through. It sucks. I hate it. Can't wait for this to end.
Right,
How's your
right.
day?
Right.
And
Right.
we're talking about our lives, but like it's not like she's rubbing it into my face and complaining
Got
about it
it.
every single day. And if
She's
she
being
did, I would find
mindful.
that extremely weird. Like
Yeah.
it's not even her being mindful. It's like she knows that I don't like no,
Right.
I'm happy for her.
Yeah.
Like great, cool.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like it's when I had long COVID, for example, it's not like
Hmm.
I was bitching to everybody every single day about the
Hmm.
symptoms, like
Right, right.
I would have found that redundant.
Right,
Like
right.
I was complaining to myself, I was complaining on forums, I figured nobody wanted to hear about it kind of thing. And,
Yeah.
like I knew I would vent to you every now and again,
Yeah,
but like we
yeah.
talked about other things too,
Yeah, of course, of
right?
course.
And
Yeah.
so in this case, it's like this person's literally centering themselves, making themselves a victim
Hmm.
because that's what covert narcissists do. Like they're the victim in everything. Like, oh,
Hmm.
like woe is me. Like
Hmm.
this
Yeah.
is so horrible. I'm getting big, blah, blah, blah. And saying this to, of all people, you,
Yeah.
it's just like, what? And then it's almost like, is this person stupid? And it's
Yeah.
like, no, no, it's intentional. It's
Hmm.
intentional. And it's one of those very touchy topics that if
Yes.
you were to say something, then it would look like you're not being a supportive friend.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Well, that's what happened to me in the last story. So,
Mhm.
and that's just been in general. Anytime I have tried to speak up, in so many of these cases, I've gotten really bad pushback.
Yeah.
Again, because I'm dealing with narcissists. I had no idea these people were narcissists until that moment or even after the fact.
Mhm.
So I've had so much trouble in my life speaking up as a result. And so I
Totally.
just kind of sit there. I put up some boundaries, and of course, narcs hate it when you put up
Of course.
boundaries.
Of course.
But yeah, I really had to like retreat a little
Yeah.
bit more and just protect myself without saying too much to the person, and because I'm scared of what might come out of my mouth a
Mhm.
lot of the time. So yeah, just a lot of trying to protect myself, a lot of
Yeah,
boundaries being put up
totally.
because you
And
feel
that's
like
control by fear right there.
right, yeah,
Right?
exactly. Didn't even realize that.
Yep, there we go. right? Because they make you so afraid to speak up for yourself and to put a boundary up that you just don't say anything,
That's it. That's it.
right?
Yeah.
And then in a narcissist's mind, they view that as like, all right, I'm gonna keep throwing some knives in this
You're
person.
easier to control because you're
Exactly.
scared.
Exactly. Right. And this is what I tell my clients every day. Guilt, shame, and fear are the three musketeers. Anyone who feels
Yep.
guilty, anyone who feels ashamed of themselves, anyone who is terrified of consequences, it's easier to control.
Yep.
And these are the three emotional states that narcissists intentionally induce within their targets in order to keep them in that bamboozled, easier to control state. And
Right.
you feel like you can't protect yourself.
Yep.
And especially when it's such a convenient topic,
Right.
you know what I mean? It's like, it's just such a perfect orchestration for a narcissist to do that
It
to
really
someone
is.
in your position who has been struggling with this for decades
Yeah.
and is like one of the biggest pain points. And it's
Yeah.
so disgusting. Like it is so fucked up. And
It
like,
is.
you know, and like something that I tell my clients every day is that this is my opinion, that empathy is like the lowest form of intelligence. Like it is just, it's so basic.
Yeah.
Don't be a dick to other people.
Yeah.
Like
The things you're taught when you're
you
a
know,
kid, be
exactly,
nice, be
right?
good. Yeah.
Right? Like be nice to people, have empathy, and like just even like, you know, going through something bad in your life would make you recognize like, oh, I wouldn't want someone else to go through this because I know how
Exactly.
painful that was, right?
Exactly.
It's just,
Exactly.
yeah, like it's just like such a basic level of intelligence, and narcissists lack that.
Yeah. That is bizarre when you word it like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Unbelievable. And it's interesting because I've I've been opening up a little bit more about my diagnosis,
Amazing.
and but I one of the things that has kind of scared me a bit, I guess, again, going back to the fear
Yep.
factor is, because I at least my knowledge of narcissists is they say, don't reveal too much for them to them, or don't tell them your deepest vulnerability because they will use it against you. So maybe like a question for you, where do you find the line in between, here's me wanting to be an advocate, but trying to protect myself at the same time so I don't have other narcs coming in now publicly knowing that about me and then finding a way to use it against me. That's a fear of mine.
Absolutely. So again, that's control by fear right there, right? So the way I look at it is what is who matters more here? The people that you're going to help by being an advocate for this and helping them understand that they're not alone versus the people who are going to find a way to use that against you.
Right.
Right? Who matters more? Those people that you're helping.
Obviously matter more.
Right? And so those are the people you're going to be investing your energy into.
Okay.
And so if somebody decides, oh, Lauren's speaking publicly about her diagnosis, let me use this against her, you're going to catch it right away. You're going to notice. You're going to notice the digs. You're going to recognize if they say something shitty to you because your emotions are literally your compass. So if you feel that spark of guilt, shame, or fear by something that somebody is saying to you in regards to you sharing your story that is anything other than I am so fucking proud of you for speaking up about this. You are
Thank
so
you.
brave. I admire you.
Yeah, right.
Anything that is not along the lines of that, then it's like, what is their agenda?
Right.
Right. And that's when you're going to know, like, I don't need to invest any energy into this person because they're not supporting me. They can go fuck themselves. I'm going to continue investing my energy into what matters to me, which is bringing awareness to this issue. And, and it's part of the empathy thing too, right? Like you felt so alone.
Yes.
And there's like no resources on MRKH or infertility and things like that. And like it's such a taboo thing to speak up about.
Absolutely.
And you actually have the courage to do that. That's fucking brave.
Yeah.
That's
oh my
amazing.
God. Love it.
Yeah.
Love
That's
it.
a sign of healing right there.
I hope so. Because,
Yes.
like it's as much as I want to do it for other people, which I do, this is also for me as well.
Yeah.
It's exhausting keeping, something like this quiet, especially now when I am being triggered more. it's like the more triggered I've gotten, the more tired I am of
Yeah,
being silenced by it. So I need to do something about it.
exactly.
So speaking up about it and then bringing the emotional abuse into it, which again, it's not talked about a lot in the community. Even
Hmm.
sometimes when I post about it on my Instagram, sometimes I'm scared I'm offending other people in the community.
Hmm.
Sometimes I'm thinking they're looking at me like, oh, she's so bitter. Why is she talking about this? But
Hmm.
obviously I don't see it that way. I'm trying to spread that awareness
Hmm.
because it needs to be talked about more.
Exactly. And here's the thing, anyone who has a negative opinion about something you're posting, when you're just sharing your story and sharing your
Hmm.
truth, they don't
Hmm.
need to be part of that community. So you're not going
Hmm.
to be losing the people who are benefiting from what you have to say.
Right.
And that's really just your inner critic telling you that, like, oh,
For
like people
sure.
are going to think you're bitter and stuff
For
like that.
sure.
Like,
For sure. A
no,
hundred
like,
percent.
you know, like, of course you felt bitterness throughout this journey,
Absolutely. I am
like,
probably biased in a lot of ways. I am as bitter as it can get
but
when it
like,
comes to this.
but that's okay. That bitterness, right? It's anger
Mhm.
towards the people who have been shaming you for something you had
Exactly.
no control over.
Exactly. It's not against, again, healthy, wonderful that my loved ones, like not, it's not that, it's not towards those people at all.
Right.
It's towards the ones who are toxic.
Exactly. Right. And if someone's uncomfortable with your truth, you got to wonder why that is,
Hmm.
right? What are they guilty of?
Right.
What have
Right.
they said to you in the past to try to make you feel less than,
Wow.
right? And they can
Yeah.
go fuck themselves because at the end of the day,
Ergo.
and you know what? I bet you, right? Because like I'm making a general assumption here. I
Hmm.
could be wrong, but at the end of the day, like I know narcissists are everywhere. I am
Hmm.
I am confident that other people who have gone through infertility and are
Hmm.
going through infertility and all of the emotions that come with it
Hmm.
have people in their lives that have shamed them for it and been emotionally
Absolutely.
abusive about it and shared unsolicited opinions and, thrown pregnancies in their faces and stuff like that. And
Yep.
it's something that they've suffered with in silence.
In silence. Yep.
Yep, just like you have. And now you get to break your silence
Hmm.
so that they can see that they're not alone.
I love that. Oh,
Mm.
you're such a way of making people feel empowered.
Aw, why, thank you.
I love that. And I'm so glad you said that because, yeah, I have gotten a few messages from people too saying, oh my God, I have experienced this too. So I have gotten maybe not as much, but again, it could be because they're scared. They don't want to speak up. They don't,
Of
it's a
course,
very taboo subject,
of
very
course.
touchy.
Yeah.
So I love that you said that because I absolutely hope this helps other people realize it's happening to them as well and they're not alone. And it's not okay.
Yeah.
It's not okay. You're not just jealous. You're not being overly sensitive. You're not the bad one for thinking otherwise. You are a human being going through a
Mhm.
really challenging situation. These are emotions and these are normal. And it's not that you're wishing ill on the other person or anything. You just want some sensitivity and empathy your
Right.
way. And you're not getting it. Instead, you're getting the complete opposite, which is screw you. Look at me and look at you. You'll
Yep.
never have this
Exactly. They're making you feel less than
on purpose
on purpose over something you have no control over.
over a medical condition that someone's born with. It's so messed up. It's so messed
Yeah,
up.
absolutely. And it's like, it doesn't help that society really glorifies parenthood and all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
And, again, this is not directed towards
No.
decent parents out there. We are not bashing anybody who chooses to get into parenthood. Like, you're awesome. Do your
Yeah, not
thing.
these are two different. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
like this is a completely different topic. Like, yes, absolutely. A lot of mothers do deserve to be put on a pedestal. I cannot imagine
For
how much
sure.
work it is,
Oh
right?
my God.
Like you're doing
Yeah,
so much
absolutely.
shit. You're healing your own
Hmm.
trauma. You're trying not to cause your own children trauma.
Yeah, yeah,
Amazing. Good
yeah,
parents. But then there's the
yeah.
parents who are literally causing trauma to their kids.
Hmm.
There's people who are, using just like a basic societal life script thing to
Hmm.
make other people feel like less than a
Less than.
human.
Yeah.
They're not able to do that, and that's not
Hmm.
fucking okay.
No, it's not. It's so messed up. It's
Yeah,
so messed up.
exactly. And by you speaking out about it, you give other people permission to potentially also speak up about it, but to also recognize that it's not okay that these people are
Hmm.
making them feel like this, and they're not
Hmm.
crazy. They're not the
Hmm.
crazy ones.
Right, right.
So I
Yeah.
think it's amazing that you're speaking up about it. I support your journey every step of the way.
I know you have. Thank you so much. You have been
And
amazing throughout all this.
oh, thank you. And I mean, you're probably going to get a lot more messages like as your page grows and
Hmm.
more people discover your page and stuff like that. Because I think it was only recently that you went off of private. So
Yeah,
people,
it is still private, but I do have
yeah.
a blog that I'm working
Oh,
on
perfect.
that I've gone more public on that. Now it's on now it's under like construction mode. But
Yeah,
yes, I am
totally.
make it public and put my picture on
Yeah.
it because it's just
Exactly, right? And
it
it's
feels
like
right.
people, exactly. And like people haven't had the opportunity to find you yet,
That's true. That's
right?
very true.
So
Yeah.
I think you're probably going to blow up at some point and
Oh gosh.
um, at a healthy pace. Don't worry,
Right.
don't worry. Not overnight.
Yes.
And you're going to get so many messages from people just saying like, thank you so much for speaking about this. Like, this is
Hmm.
something I've gone through. And, like, you never know, like, you might be saving somebody's life
Wow.
because maybe they were
Yeah.
feeling so fucking low about
Hmm.
their issue and made to feel like shit about it by
Hmm.
the assholes in their lives. And
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
they stumble upon your page
Hmm.
and they see like, oh my God, like someone else has gone through this. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Like,
That's all it takes. It just
yeah,
takes one other person. And
exactly.
infertility and MRKH itself is such a lonely
Yeah.
journey. So to have this added layer of trauma on
Yeah.
your trauma already,
Hmm.
I can only imagine the people out there who have felt this and have felt alone.
Totally. Well, amazing. I am so proud of you. And how can people find you if they want to learn more about your story?
Thank you. You can find me at Girl with MRKH on Instagram, my blog whenever it gets up and running, which I hope is soon. Yeah, feel free to
Oh,
reach out.
amazing. I'll link both of them in the description of this podcast episode. And thank you so much for being here,
Thank
Lorenn.
you so much, Adri. This was so wonderful, and I hope it
Oh,
helps.
absolutely. Thank you for sharing your story. I am sure there's going to be so many people that identify with your story. And, even if they're not necessarily going through an infertility battle, just the whole thing about narcissistic friendships and just like the little
Hmm.
weird, subtle things that can happen in a
Yeah.
narcissistic friendship that,
Yes.
might not necessarily be connected to this, but could be connected to something completely different, but they recognize the pattern,
The
right?
vulnerability. If it's a
Exactly.
vulnerability you have, they're gonna clock
Exactly.
it.
A
Hmm.
100%. So thank you so much for
Thank you,
sharing.
Adri.
So appreciate it. And if there's any last words you want to leave the audience with, go for it.
Ooh, to my MRKH sisters and anyone in the community struggling, I love you all. You are so much better than any toxic person in your life, and you're not alone.
Aw, love it.
And
Thank you.
Adri's the best.
Aw, thank you.
Do you
Bye.
want coaching? There's a good spot for you.
She said it. But I will have to agree. I'm just kidding.
Yes. Yep.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you so much. And yeah, I hope this episode has been helpful for everyone. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Welcome to The Shift Show with Adriana Bucci. Join me every week to learn all about narcissistic abuse recovery, healing from physical and emotional pain after the abuse, and everything else to do with toxic people and how they affect your physical, emotional, and mental health. And no, you are not the crazy one. Thank you so much for tuning in to today's episode. Let's get right to it.
Hey, and welcome back to The Shift Show. I have a super great episode lined up for you today. It's a really insightful and interesting conversation with one of my really good friends, Lorenn. We've been friends for over 20 years at this point, I think. And we had a really interesting chat about her struggles with infertility and how that brought all the narcissists out to play. And if you don't know this about me, I am child-free by choice, meaning I just do not want to have children. And so we added that angle into this discussion as well, and how, narcissists kind of make their way in all these types of conversations that really don't concern them at the end of the day. And with what Lorenn was talking about, we really go into what do you do when, you're going through some sort of infertility struggle like Lorenn has, and a narcissist rubs their pregnancy news in your face, and how do you handle their sudden discard once the baby arrives, and
what do you do when the narcissist shames you for having a medical condition like this? And Lorenn was diagnosed with MRKH syndrome, which is a rare congenital condition that affects the development of the female reproductive system. And she talks about her diagnosis, how, narcissistic abuse kind of played into all of that. And I think it's a really great eye-opening conversation. So I will stop rambling and let you listen to the episode. Here we go.